Thanks for joining us at the Clive Barker Podcast. If you're a fan, why not subscribe or follow so you never miss a release? In episode 354, Jose and Ryan have some breaking news about the Hulu Hellraiser film, plus some cool stuff from Doug Bradley, Dr. Sorcha Fhlainn, and Pete Atkins. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive, an advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and up to 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. Click on the side banner and follow the link to the Etsy shop to have a look. All right, well, welcome. This is episode number 354 of the Clive Barker Podcast. Good evening, Jose.
Hey, Ryan. How are we doing tonight?
Good. I just rushed home from work.
Yeah. July 4th weekend, so I hope that you guys got something planned.
Well, July 2nd is Jennifer's birthday.
Oh, so, happy birthday, Jennifer.
After this recording, I've got to grab Joel and run out the door so we can get cards.
Hey, that's cool. Sarah's birthday was on the 26th.
Oh, wow.
So I just picked up a cake for her yesterday. Because she was out Garfield for a few days. Yeah, kind of the Garfield cake. It's just orange cake with stripes. But it was fun. So
today's a news episode. We're doing one more just to give me enough. We already recorded a Jericho Squad episode. It's just I haven't edited it yet. So
yeah, and it was pretty fun. There was a big fight. I think it's going to be a very enjoyable episode. It ended up being pretty compact, not as rovey, wondery as it usually is.
Yeah, it was pretty good, which means I won't have to edit so much.
Yeah, that's true.
That'll be good. Yeah.
But we do got some news, right?
This one we just heard today from our roving reporter, Ed Martinez, right?
Hey, good old Ed.
Yeah. We'd been kind of theorizing that the the Hellraiser Hulu movie is going to come out on Halloween, based on when it's filmed and when, they needed to, after the test screening, they needed to finish up editing it, get its final version. And so Ed confirmed with a source of his that indeed it is going to be on Halloween.
Yeah, Hulu Halloween, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a flagship movie for their Halloween lineup, it sounds like.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait. So that means there's just another 3 months, 4 months. It's the beginning of July, but in probably like 4 months, 120 days, people, hopefully. I don't know if it's going to be exactly 120 days, but it seems like that's the plan. And from our roving reporter correspondent, Ed Martinez, in the further regions of experience
in California,
he got a source that kind of told him that, a little Tweety bird.
Yeah.
So hopefully there'll be more on the way.
And one other fact, right, that he confirmed is that the picture is locked, meaning now after the test screening they made their changes, they finalized stuff like the score and stuff like that, and so now the picture is locked. It's done, right? So they just have to advertise and get it ready for Halloween. And
now the quest for no spoilers begins. And for you people out there who love to know everything about a movie before you actually see it, if you go on YouTube, there's probably a few guys with videos out talking about how these Cenobites look like, what the story is like. Yeah. I mean, we can't really direct you people to spoilers, but you know where to look. You know where to look.
Yeah, there's one person who talked to someone who was at the test screening. For me, that's the kind of thing I have to plug my ears and close my eyes, and I don't want to know.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's why we're not including it in discussing that video. But if you guys know where it is, you probably will find it pretty quickly on YouTube.
Yeah. And I'm surprised actually that hasn't popped up in like the Hellbound web on Facebook and other Clive Barker groups yet.
Yeah, on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone will.
Me, I didn't see it. Maybe someone did post it and I just didn't notice.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Hulu Halloween, Hulu Hellraiser. I can't tell from the first day that we heard about something coming out like, you remember when we heard about Hulu was doing some Halloween? It wasn't even originally on Hulu, was it? I think I remember David Bruckner was going to do a Hellraiser movie, and then we started like hearing more and more stuff about it, and then it became a Hulu project.
Back then it was the Hellraiser remake.
Yeah, it was going to be Compass Pictures or whatever it is, like the studio from David Bruckner, and then it became like a Hulu project, and now here's a good reason for me to get Hulu again in a few months. So they got me with Books of Blood. They're probably going to get me with Hellraiser again. Yes.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this whole time. I've been thinking about the title of this episode. It needs to be some kind of tongue twister with Hulu and Hellraiser and Halloween.
Oh wow, the big triple H.
Yeah, Hellraiser, Hulu, Halloween, horror.
Yeah, why not? That sounds like a good
Hextravaganza.
Hextravaganza with an H.
Yeah.
Oh boy, 4-H.
I'll keep working on it. That's kind of like Poochie.
Ooh.
Yeah, it needs to be something good. Be like Poochie, only good.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh.
More news from the Reef. Just speculation coming from one of our friends that tonight is the finale for Joe Bob Briggs' Last Drive-In.
Oh,
there's a good chance it might be Nightbreed.
Seriously?
Yeah. I just saw the message. Someone popped up on my screen.
Now I'm seeing it too.
Yeah. So just a speculation, but hey, if you guys got Shudder, watch tonight's finale and let me know if he was right or not. So I don't have Shudder, but
So Joe Bob Briggs is scooping us because we're gonna do an audio commentary of Nightbreed. The theatrical cut pretty soon.
Oh man, wish we had done that before.
A couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Revisiting a movie that we've loved for 25 years until we loved something else. Which was the director's cut. Yeah,
but it'll be fun to go back to it and go, oh yeah, man, I forgot they took that out, or I forgot that this part's not in there anymore.
Right. You're gonna be like, hey, whatever happened to this scene? It's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Once you go extended version, it's hard to go back.
Once you go director's cut, you don't go back.
Yeah, well, and the 2017 Cabal cut. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. There's more news coming out. So there's a friend of the podcast. We've had her here in a couple of shows. Dr. Sorcha Fhlainn from England, right? She has a new book coming from Edinburgh University Press. It was a 20th Century Gothic, an Edinburgh companion, and it's edited by Sorcha Fhlainn and Bernice M. Murphy. So it's one of the most extensive and up-to-date volume of essays on the Gothic mode in 20th century culture.
And she mentioned that there was going to be some stuff about Hellraiser and Clive Barker in here.
Oh, wow. Of course. There's some major parts here. There's how many parts are in this book? 3 parts. Part 1, Gothic Evolutions. Part 2, the Gothic and Technology / Transmedia Considerations. And then part 3, Key Themes and Topics in 20th Century Gothic. And I'm trying to look at the chapter titles to see if one of these would have any Hellraiser connotations. I don't think so, but maybe it's going to be in part 2 because I see Grand Guignol as 20th Century Gothic drama. So that has a good chance of being about Hellraiser.
Gothic horror films at the fin de millennium, from nightmare videos to filtered realities, by Sorcha herself. Chapter 9. I bet that's the one.
Oh yeah. Good bet there. Good bet. Better bet than me. Yep.
But we'll see. I don't know. For sure.
It's published last month, June 2022, but it's 328 pages of academic essays, so you can get it in hardback, ebook, as an EPUB, or a PDF.
Yay.
20th Century Gothic, an Edinburgh companion. Thank you, Sorcha Fhlainn.
Yeah. We've got a couple of Doug Bradley newses here.
Newses?
That's how you say it when you're a professional. So Doug Bradley is he's actually already done a horror fiction podcast called Hollow.
Okay, from Violet Hour
Media, yeah.
So I'm looking at their page. I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to listen to this podcast before we did the show.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, this was kind of a short notice, but I'm looking at their episodes. It looks like there's 14 episodes for this. So I want to look at which one has Doug Bradley. I was looking at the list. I couldn't really see.
I think he narrates, or no, he narrates the next thing. I think he plays a part, but I don't know.
Okay, so Hollow is a mercenary embarks on a corporate mission to track down a rogue leader and encounters the darkness of space, the darkness of colonization, and ultimately the darkness within himself. A futuristic retelling of Joseph Conrad's.
Yeah.
Yes, Heart of Darkness. So, hey, new podcast, right? It's on Apple Podcasts. Yeah, I'll probably start listening to this after our call.
His voice acting career seems to be really taking off.
Right. I mean, I was listening to and I think it was the Bethesda Xbox event, and they showed a bunch of trailers for games that are coming out for the Xbox. And one of them was for Scorn, which is a game that I've been following for quite a long time.
Oh, you've been following? I just heard about this recently for this news episode. So Doug Bradley is the narrator for Scorn.
Yeah, he's the narrator for the trailer for Scorn. And I think we got the trailer linked at the end of the show notes there.
Yeah.
So Scorn is going to be released on October 21, so closer to Halloween. It was the Xbox and Bethesda showcase during Summer Game Fest.
Oh, is it a Bethesda game?
No, it's going to be an Xbox release, but it's not from Bethesda Game Studios. It was just because they were releasing a bunch of things about Xbox and Bethesda. It's been in development for quite some time. I remember seeing gameplay videos for this and development videos for this 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I've been following it because the whole aesthetics of this game is very much like H.R. Giger.
Oh, so is it a horror survival game?
I'm not sure because the stuff that's come out about it in terms of gameplay doesn't really explain a lot about the gameplay. Of course the protagonist doesn't speak, but then it goes from the surface of the ground inside a tunnel into what looks like a spaceship. Oh. And this is a spaceship that has a lot of creatures living inside it. And these are creatures that look like they came out of H.R. Giger books. Yeah, and the whole ship is very biomechanical, and you are a humanoid creature, but you're not entirely human because you interface with puzzles using plugs into your wrists and hands and stuff. And there's weapons that are the gun from Existenz by David Cronenberg.
Oh yeah.
It's guns that are made of what looks like bones and fleshy parts, and then you can replace one part with another, and then it becomes a shotgun, and then you replace it with another, it becomes a revolver kind of weapon. Yeah. So it looks interesting. I mean, if you haven't seen the trailer, I would really recommend that you watch it. It looks like a fun game. I'm not sure exactly. It looks like it's going to be a puzzle-oriented game.
Oh.
Yeah. Of exploration, puzzle-oriented.
Looking forward to that. I'll probably play it. I like survival horror games, but not as much puzzle games, but I guess we'll see what it is.
Absolutely. Watch this trailer with Doug Bradley because it's a short trailer. It's 2.5 minutes, and he does a great job narrating that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And more Hellraiser adjacent news, right? Peter Atkins' story, The Thing About Cats, will appear in Midsummer Macabre.
Well, it's already up. It's actually a YouTube video. It's an event. And it's a bunch of authors reading stories from different books. Peter Atkins' story comes from Volume 3 of the Lovecraft Squad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you can watch it right now.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it at the beginning before you called me, and I actually bought Volume 3 of the Lovecraft Squad on Amazon right now. Oh. I just bought that book because, hey, Peter Atkins, right? One of my favorite authors.
That'll be cool. Yeah, I've started reading Moontown too.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great book. This story that he reads, the protagonist is a 25-year-old woman. So as he narrates the book at the beginning, he says, well, I'm a 65-year-old guy, and I'm going to narrate a story by a 25-year-old woman. So if you want to turn off the video and just listen to the audio, maybe that will help. It's like, no, Pete, we want to watch you.
Yeah.
We love you. But he narrates the story beautifully. And
awesome. Yeah, go check
I'm sure
it out.
Yeah. And there's more. There's more authors. Tim Laban, David Moody, Allison Moore. And it's on Joseph Freeman's YouTube channel. It's 2.5 hours. It's got cats. Yep. Some of them can be really scary. I mean, Lovecraft was big on cats, right? The lost city of Kadath. There's cats that fly to the moon and stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this, the fantasy world of Clive Barker? You put that one in there, I think.
Oh, that was an article that was published somewhere on Facebook. And it's about this guy. His name is Michael. Let me see. What's the name of
Cavassini?
Cavassini. Thank you.
Yeah, he's been posting all kinds of stuff from his personal blog. That's like old interviews with Clive and stuff like that. Yeah.
So he found a video on YouTube. I don't know if it was on YouTube. He actually posted it on his blog. So it's not really a YouTube link, but he posted in the early 1990s a documentary narrated by Melvin Bragg, aired on TV, called The Fantasy World of Clive Barker. Below is a documentary on its entirety. Enjoy. And even though it's got Swedish subtitles, I don't think I've ever seen this documentary before. So it was a really interesting watch. It's a 50-minute documentary.
He's also recently posted Clive Barker, The Art of Horror, and Lord of Illusions, The Magic of Clive Barker, which was like a DVD extra.
Yeah, and Horror Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, yeah, I'm always up for people who are posting about Clive Barker. So it's a new blog to check out.
Yeah.
He's an award-winning writer and historian, according to his blog. So Michael Cavassini, check out this old documentary he posted, and it's a really cool documentary. I like that the opening is Clive Barker's parents, and they're both trying to shift the blame on why Clive is the way he is. I was like, I don't know where he gets it from. It's not from my side. Oh, I don't think it's from my side either. That's a funny intro.
Yeah. So on Clive Barker discussion on the Reddit page, somebody put. So this was an interesting one. I mean, it's something we've talked about quite a bit, but on the podcast. But I always like this question. He put, if a film of Imagica were announced, would you be excited, ready to be disappointed, ready for it to never actually come to completion? So it's like, yeah, you get excited until you start hearing the details, and then you decide if you still like it or not. My perfect version of Imagica, I've mentioned before, I'd want it to be a miniseries. Cover the whole book. Don't try to condense that thing into one movie. Hey,
yeah.
Don't change the spelling. That's a quote.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I would never spell Imagica with a G.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. This is the thing of live recording, because I saw that the title of the thread was spelled Imagica with a G, and I went in there and okay.
Yeah. I
got it.
It bugs me too, but I can't do anything about it.
I know. I can't see it that way.
If you guys want to blame somebody, it's on Reddit. It's OakTown43. That was his question.
Shame
Reddit.
on you, OakTown43. You don't even know how to spell Imagica. I'm joking.
Actually, that could be done by the autocorrect from his phone.
I did correct Dog Bradley to Doug Bradley, though.
Did I write Dog Bradley?
It might have been a Freudian slip. It's okay.
Why would that be a Freudian slip?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Day of the Dog Company, Dog Bradley.
Okay. Well,
who knows?
I was just thinking about, we talked about fish names and stuff, and he had like Alice Pooper.
Remember what are you talking about?
When he was talking to us on our last interview with Doug Bradley,
right?
He had a fish named Alice Pooper, and I thought that was awesome because I have a huge Alice Cooper collection.
Right, you're right. Yeah, when fish swimming around the aquarium with a big brown noodle coming out of the bottom.
Well, I've got no one to blame for Dog Bradley except for myself. That was me typing fast when I should have been working at work.
That's fine. Anyway, so if a film were, going back to the question by OakTown43.
Mm-hmm.
So if a film of Imagica were announced, I would be excited.
Yeah.
I would not be disappointed. I'm never going to hold a movie or a TV show to the standard of the book. I'm never going to do that because there's no way. It's too high a standard for, an almost 1,200 page book to get adapted. It's going to shed a lot of stuff, right? It's not going to be all the stuff that you read and see in your mind.
Well,
I would be excited that it's made.
Everybody's going to see it in their mind just a little different too.
Yeah.
And also to this point, OakTown43, actually, it has been announced before. It's just a couple of years ago it was announced. We don't know where it's going or, everything you can imagine they try to develop.
So partially...
Everything of Clive's that they've tried to develop.
So partially you'd also be ready for it to never actually come to completion?
Well, we have to be, right? I mean, that's the reality for Clive Barker fans.
That's why he included that.
Yeah. I mean, there's Weave World and Imagica.
It's hard.
The Great and Secret Show, all that stuff's been announced. And
Imagica is really hard to be adapted. It's got a lot of special effects. It would have a lot of characters. It would be a super expensive production. Unless they cut parts out of it, I don't know how they would do it.
You think
as a movie?
I don't know. I mean, I would want to see it like an HBO miniseries.
Yeah, but even for a miniseries,
they wouldn't have to cut anything out. You just keep making episodes until it's over.
Yeah, but how much is going to be the budget for an episode?
As much as they can afford. This is like Clive Barker's the thing that this is like for the fans. This is the biggest. Imagica is the biggest thing out of all of them.
I hear you. I mean, Stranger Things season 4 has like a $33 million budget for each episode.
Yeah.
And that means
and it's not as complex a story as Imagica is.
Right. Absolutely right. But I would be excited because that would put Clive Barker's name back on the map where it belongs, in my opinion. And it's always great to... I'm always excited to see this stuff coming out. Like Hellraiser coming out is going to be great because I just want Hellraiser not to die. If it directs people to the original movie, that is okay with me.
Yeah.
Even if whatever comes out, even if we think, oh, okay, well, I liked it, but I still going to have the original Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Which has all the people that we know and love, and so it's a different feeling.
Your point is that even if a movie came out and it's terrible, it would prompt like another release of the book.
Yeah,
that would get people out there reading Imagica.
Not necessarily terrible, even if it's just okay.
Yeah,
it's going to be different, right? I mean, look, over the years we've lived with this movie in the back of our minds, being projected in a little screen in the back of our cerebellum. Pretty much on nonstop. We've talked to people like Nick Vince, Simon Bamford, Barbie Wilde, Doug Bradley, Clive Barker. We've talked to fans endlessly about it, discussing it in forums when we were younger. It's a part of us. Mm-hmm. More Hellraiser coming out? Yeah, it's fine. But it's like, it's not going to be directed by Clive Barker with Doug Bradley, Simon Bamford, Nicholas Vince, Barbie Wilde, but it's going to be a different movie. And at least it's going to keep Hellraiser alive in the minds of a new generation. And that, for me, gives me a lot of pleasure, gives me a lot of happiness.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see a movie that's really to the spirit of Hellraiser, man, check out Crimes of the Future by David Cronenberg. I just saw that movie like a few days ago, and I was like, holy crap.
Everybody's talking about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, wow. That's pleasure and pain indivisible. Like, surgery is the new sex. Like, damn. That movie is like, have you seen Crimes of the Future, listeners? Sound off in the comments and tell me what you thought about it, because I was blown away by it.
Really? Like, blown away like this is a crazy movie, or did you actually enjoy watching it?
I enjoyed it. Okay. I really enjoyed it. It has a certain, how should I say it? I wouldn't call it a perversion, but it has like a subversion of like the relationship with the body. And it's like in very broad strokes, without spoilers, it's set in the near future, and humans are a little slightly more evolved than we are today. And in some ways, pain is a thing of the past. So when pain becomes a thing of the past and you don't feel pain, then it's easier to do surgery on yourself. And also infections are a thing of the past. So you take it from there and you figure it out.
Oh.
Yeah. If you didn't feel pain and there was no danger of infection.
Pain is like a warning for like when bad things are happening to you.
No, but that's true. But that's also a part of the story. Like, yeah, if you don't feel pain, then you're going to end up in places that are weird and dangerous.
Yeah. Maybe you don't know when something's killing you.
Sure, of course, yeah. I mean, there is actually a syndrome of people who can't feel pain, and they have to be very careful because they can be walking around and break a toe without even noticing. They can get scalded, they can get scratched or cut without even realizing it. There is some sort of syndrome where you don't feel pain necessarily. People end up hurting themselves pretty badly if they're not careful.
Well, so to kind of recap OakTown43's question, I mean, we're both right. I think it's pretty safe to say we're both for a film of Imagica or a miniseries or, a show.
Or a comic book adaptation or a cartoon or whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Even if it's going to be another release, as long as it's not a super expensive, like whatever binding of Imagica that's going to cost me the same as buying a new car, then I'm all for
it. Shots fired at Suntup.
Oh, man. I didn't mention any names. I don't know what you're talking
Everybody knows what there hasn't been one since that one.
God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless.
No, that's a really cool book, though. Honestly, I'm jealous of anybody that has one of those.
Yeah, me too.
Discord. So in our Discord chat, Raul kind of started up a discussion about Clive Barker and his writing style and the way he might be working on a project and then get distracted and start writing something else.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. I think we've brought this up before, right? I mean, he's working on Aberrat 3 and all of a sudden here comes Mr. Be Gone out of nowhere. Nobody.
Yeah, I think the best example is the saga of the Scarlet Gospels, right?
Yeah.
When the Scarlet Gospels was going to be a bunch of short stories, and it was going to be a bunch of short stories collected and then some new stories, and then it was going to become also a book of vignettes and maybe some erotic photography.
Right. And then the short story collection got changed to Black as the Devil's Rainbow.
Yeah. And then there was a story called The Last Requiem, which was going to be Harry the Moor and Pinhead. And then that story grew to the point where it became its own. It was going to become a big part of the Scarlet Gospels.
Yeah.
And then it took over the title of the Scarlet Gospels. And then there were a few other things that came out of the Scarlet Gospels story with Harry the Moor and Doug Bradley, which became another story about Joseph of Arimathea and his dog. You
said Harry the Moor and Doug Bradley.
Oh, Harry the Moor and the Hell Priest. I'm sorry. In my mind, the Hell Priest and Doug Bradley are one and the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to alleviate any confusion.
Yes, thank you. But then there were stories that were branching out of the Scarlet Gospels, and then it became its own thing. And I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we could try connecting that, but only Clive Barker and Phil and Sarah know all that stuff for sure because they're the only ones who have access to these manuscripts, right?
Yeah.
They can see the organic evolution.
Deep Hill started out its life. It was called Scare Baby, right? And
which comes from a poem in Aberrat.
Yeah, and so that whole thing started up after his trauma from the coma. And, while fans are waiting for Aberrat 4 and everybody's always clamoring for the third book of the art, right? But you just got to ride the wave. and take, we just look forward, expect to be surprised, and that's okay too. That's my motto.
Wherever it takes you.
Yeah, because I think people will be happier if every time they announce some new Clive Barker project and you're one of those people that says, "Oh yeah, but where's the third book of the art?" Is that making
where's the beef?
Yeah, is that making you happy, or are you just making yourself miserable, demanding something that's not really that close to being released?
I'll ride the wave as long as it doesn't crash on Chicken Town, okay?
What?
I'll ride the wave as long as it doesn't crash on Chicken Town.
Is that your way of saying you don't want any more Aberrat books?
No. No, I guess not. I just want the wave to crash into quiddity. I'm okay with Aberrat, but I would also like to have this, Great and Secret Show.
The third book of the art.
Yeah.
And he's definitely got ideas for the third book of the art, but I think it's probably still a ways from being published. I mean, we could all be wrong. You never know when stuff's going to get announced. All of a sudden, you wait and you wait and you wait, and all of a sudden, bam, it's announced.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm okay with anything that comes from Clive Barker. Yeah. I think we mentioned this in a previous episode, but I started out thinking of Clive Barker as a writer, but then as I got to know more of his work, I realized he's a lot more than that. He's an artist, he's a writer, he's a playwright, he's a painter, he's a photographer. And so anything that comes out, as long as it's new and original from Clive Barker, I'm okay with it. I mean, at this point, I could just have like a book of sketches and I'd be happy with it.
Yeah. Oh, well, to steal other people's titles, right? He's a dark imaginer of dark worlds.
I'm not into labels, man. It's just Clive Barker, man.
The Fantastique, that's his label.
Yeah.
But and the one that I'm looking forward to a lot this is something that I've wanted ever since I started trying to collect every single rogue Clive Barker short story. Is this collected book of short stories? All these ones that are all floating out there that weren't previously published, but they're in like a book called like Cutting Edge or Primeval or Best New Horror Volume 4
short stories.
Yeah, or the 16th annual volume of science fiction and fantasy.
Fear magazine number what's his face. You have those.
And it took me forever. Or the London, the Book of London short stories is another one.
Yeah, Pigeon and Teresa, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like those things are hard to find. And I try to talk to people about these stories, and I'm like all alone. I want everybody to be able to read them so we can talk about them and we can point at them and say, hey, here's where you get it. Instead of saying,
like Mammalian in the dark sitting under a tree with the leaves falling.
That's right.
And you're like, I want to talk about Pigeon and Teresa.
Yeah. Or Coming to Grief or Hermione and the Moon or Animal Life.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are all great stories.
And Animal Life is really easy to find. On the internet, it's just not collected anywhere.
Yeah, but if we can give Clive money, I'm happier that way. Although I know when you buy a used book, you're not really giving him money,
but you're giving yourself the marvelous gift of a story, right?
Yeah.
You're giving yourself food for your imagination.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of a cool discussion. David Anderson, had written that Clive wrote his best story in an empty house with no distractions for 2 years, talking about Imagica.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And the idea there is that maybe with less distractions, the output is
Are you
higher.
proposing that we kidnap Clive Barker and put him inside an empty house by himself and force him to write the third book of the art?
You've brought up kidnapping Clive Barker on a surprising number of episodes. This is like the fourth one where you is the FBI?
There's a theme. Yeah. I should be on a list somewhere. Don't let me get close to California.
Yeah. You used to live in California. You lost your chance.
I know. Well, I did get to visit Seraphim Studios with you, so that was fun. Kind of fighting the temptation to walk to the house next door and just ring the bell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the first time I went there, Mark took me around a tour of the outside of that house, and we went around the backyard and stuff.
Yeah?
There was a tent out there with paintings in it. Yeah, there was a tent with all the paintings that Clive didn't care about.
Moving away from my continual desire to kidnap Clive Barker and turn him into a literary slave.
Okay. Yes. So coming next, we've got Jericho Squad. For real, we've already recorded it. I just need to sit down in front of the computer. Man, it's hot today. It's like 90 degrees here.
Wow.
So, yeah, and so in the hot house, it's even hotter because we don't have air conditioning.
Oh, no.
But
so how do you sleep at night?
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They just get
It's probably going to be 60s, in the 60s at night or something.
No, it's the same because the sun's up all night.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Jesus, I forgot about that. Holy crap.
Yeah, so that's been, kind of keeping me low energy, but I really need to get going on that, and we've been talking to some people who backed us on Kickstarter about like commercials that we want from them, and so kind of waiting on that too, but I want to get going on it.
Get some interviews that we got set up with for some of our patrons that actually helped us. Talking to you, Eric. Give us a theme.
Yeah, and the commercial, too. We want to make a commercial for him, or have him make a commercial for us. Either way, one or the other. So we've got Jericho Squad. We've got A-Z Commentaries, V for Vice Versa, and we were originally going to skip that letter because it's about Clive Barker movies that we've already covered, but we realized we never covered the theatrical cut of Nightbreed in our audio commentaries, because we talked about it so much, and we did audio commentaries for 2 versions of Nightbreed, so I didn't even think of it. But it's like, yeah, that's true, because the director's cut came out right when we were starting to do these audio commentaries.
I promise we're not just going to edit our Cabal Cut commentary and cut out the parts and make it like a theatrical cut commentary. That
would probably sound terrible. We'd be cut off in mid-sentence a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So then we'll have more news and interviews and stuff like that, and we've got Ed, the roving reporter, on the scene, covering the beat.
We got more news and interviews coming up. Join us for the Nightbreed Theatrical Cut commentary track. We promise we'll make it a fun experience.
Yeah, that'll be cool. We need to figure out who we want to get to join us for that. We should do something fun, because we've already done 2 Nightbreed commentaries that were just you and I. I mean, not that it would be fun to do just you and I, but it would be fun to do something have somebody else join us.
Yeah, maybe like a special guest. Let's think about that.
Yeah. And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed. You can find the Clive Barker podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. Watch for our annual Kickstarter fundraisers to get some cool stuff, and you can buy t-shirts on our TeePublic store. Go to tpublic.com and search for BarkerCast.
Thanks for listening.